Internal Revenue Service IRS tax news. Get a federal tax refund faster with direct deposit. There's a YouTube video on this for direct deposit for your tax refund. There's a link to that here. IR 2021-19, January 22nd, 2021, Washington. The Internal Revenue Service today reminds taxpayers that the fastest way to get their tax refund is by filing electronically and choosing direct deposit. So many people that are going to be filing, and many more people probably filing at this point in time, that may be needing to get the economic impact payment, otherwise known as the recovery rebate credit, if there was some kind of issue with the 1 or 2 round economic impact payment during 2020. And so therefore you might be filing the tax return early in 2021 for the tax year 2020, or you might just be looking for that refund in 2021 for the tax year 2020. So if you do plan on getting a refund, then the fastest way to get that will typically be to file electronically. If you file by paper, then the IRS is kind of backed up on that, and they generally are, because they have been trying to push on to electronic filing for some time now. And now with the COVID-19, they've been social distancing and whatnot, so they're kind of backed up, it looks like, on the paper filing, which will delay most likely refunds. Also, when you electronically file, if you provide the banking information so that they can give you the information or the bank deposit directly into your checking account electronically, once again, that'll be an automated system or more automated, and therefore a faster system than sending out a check, both because the check takes longer for number one just to send out in normal times, and once again, it takes more manual processing, which is going to be backed up for the IRS, you would think, due to the social distancing type of rules. If, on the other hand, you are owing taxes to the IRS, you may not be quite as concerned if you paper file and you write a check to them. If you avoid penalties and interest, and it takes them a little bit while to process the return, in that case, as long as you're not being penalized about it, you may not be as concerned with the turnaround time on the IRS side to be depositing a particular check. So maybe the direct payment would not be as applicable in that case. However, back to the text. Direct deposit is free, fast, simple, safe, and secure. Taxpayers can even split their refund to have it deposited into 1, 2, or 3 different accounts. 8 out of 10 taxpayers get their refunds by using direct deposit. There's a link to the direct deposit here. The IRS uses the same electronic transfer system to deposit tax refunds that is used by the federal agencies to deposit nearly 98% of Social Security and Veteran Affairs benefits into millions of accounts. So what they're trying to say there is that they believe it's secure. It's a secure type of thing. At one point in time, of course, when everything moved online and we got the electronic filing and whatnot with tax returns, which have sensitive information, that was kind of an issue for some time. But now, that's kind of standard now, so it must be secure enough to be somewhat standard. And then, of course, the banking information, to provide your banking information so that they can give you the deposit directly through basically software and whatnot. People probably had security issues with that, or surely did at some point, and they're basically trying to say, hey, look, this is pretty secure at this point in time, or that's what they're getting at, because, of course, they want the electronic filing and they want the electronic payments. So direct deposit also avoids the possibility that a refund check could be lost or stolen or returned to the IRS as undeliverable. And it saves taxpayer money. It costs more than $1 for every paper refund issued, but only a dime for each direct deposit. So easy to use. A taxpayer simply selects direct deposit as the refund method when using tax software or working with a tax preparer, and either they or the tax preparer type in their account and routing number. It's important to double check entries to avoid errors. So obviously when you want the direct deposit, you got to provide your banking information to the IRS so that they can then give you the deposit directly into your account. Typically that will be done in the way most people will file, which is electronically with the use of and help from tax software. Tax software will almost surely have then that kind of information so that you can give that information to the IRS through the software when you're processing the tax return, either on your own, if you're using software to do so, possibly free software, which you might be able to find on the IRS website. If you search for free tax filing services, the IRS has some options that they could link you to there. Or if you get it from a tax preparer, they will surely be using tax software, I would hope, and therefore would have that option as well in that case. So the IRS reminds taxpayers they should only deposit refunds directly into U.S. affiliated accounts that are in their name, their spouse's name, or both of it's a joint account. So obviously when you're getting a refund from the IRS, they want to make sure that it's going to the proper person. So they would want you to be putting it into a bank account that is under your name, under your spouse's name, or if a joint account, under the joint name. So you don't want to basically be saying, give me a refund on my tax return where it says Joe Smith on the tax return and whatnot, social security number, and then have a different name. It's going to Alex for a different name on the bank account. That would look funny. They, of course, want it to be going to the same person who is actually filing the tax return. So many people do not use checks and may find their routing and account numbers on their online bank account or mobile app. So if you want to find the information, traditionally, you would pull out the old checkbook and you would have the routing number and banking information on it. But many people don't even use checks anymore. You don't even have a checkbook. So you can go online then and find the information necessary to provide to the tax software so that you can get this electronic payment going directly into your account. Taxpayers may have a refund app applied to their prepaid debit card. Many reliable prepaid cards have account and routing numbers that could be provided to the IRS. But check with the financial institution to make sure the card can be used and verify the routing number and account number, which may be different from the card number. So you want to make sure you're picking up the right numbers. You got a card number if you're talking about some kind of debit card or something like that, which could be different than the routing number and account number. So we got 3 different numbers if you're dealing with a card possibly that were kind of relevant here. 1, the number that's on the card. 2, the account number, which may be different. And then 3, the routing number, which is typically the number that will be used for the direct routing kind of system that you need to get to the IRS if you want them to process the electronic payment to that place, to that card. There are mobile apps that may allow the direct deposit of tax refunds. They must have routing and account numbers associated with them that can be entered on a tax return. Check with the mobile app provider to confirm what numbers to use. So if you want to be really high-tech and super cool with it, then you can have a mobile app on your mobile phone and set that up as well. Have the bank routing and account number when having taxes prepared. So when you go have your tax prepared, you're going to get your taxes done. You go somewhere to the tax preparer. If you're going somewhere to a tax preparer, or if you're using software, either software that you purchase possibly, such as a TurboTax or something like that, or free software, which you might be able to find by searching on IRS Free File and then going from there, then you want to make sure that if you want the direct deposit to be done, you're going to need that information when processing your tax returns. So you want to have that handy either in the interview or when you're sitting down to do the taxes with the software. So the IRS does not have the ability to access this information after a return is filed. So once filed, you might say, okay, now it's filed. Go ahead. You might think that you're going to tell your tax preparer or your software and say, hey, look, I don't have the routing number yet now. Just go ahead and file it and I'll come back tomorrow and put in the bank account information. Well, it's too late by then. So if you didn't give them the information, they're going to send the thing by check by that point in time. If you want them to electronically file, you have to do so, provide that information into the software when you file the tax return. So don't have a bank account? Visit the FDIC website. There's a link to that here for information on where to find a bank that can open an account online and how to choose the right account. Veterans can use the Veterans Benefit Banking Program, the VPBP, there's a link to that here, for access to financial services at participating banks. Tax return preparers may also offer electronic payment options. Split refunds. By using direct deposit, a taxpayer can split their refund into up to 3 financial accounts, including a bank or individual retirement account. Part of the refund can even be used to purchase up to $5,000 in U.S. Series savings bonds. A taxpayer can split the refund by using tax software or by using Form 8888 allocation of refund. So you might have different reasons why you want to split the tax refund, put it into multiple accounts, possibly, for example, husband, wife, different type of accounts or something like that. Then you could have the option to do this. So either through the tax software, hopefully, would provide an option in those cases, or you can use this form, and there's a link to it, Form 8888, allocation of refund. So including saving bond purchases if they file a paper return. So if you file the paper return, you can use that option. Some people use split refunds as a convenient option for managing their money, sending some of their refund to an account for immediate use and some for future savings. So another reason you might want to do it is just to put it directly to a savings account so you never see it in your checking account and therefore are less likely to spend it. So no more than 3 electronic tax refunds can be deposited into a single financial account or prepaid debit card. Taxpayers who exceed the limit will receive an IRS notice, and a paper refund will be issued for the refunds exceeding that limit. Combining electronic filing plus direct deposit yields fastest refunds. So the safest and most accurate way to file a tax return is to file electronically. There's a link to file electronically here. That basically means you're going to use tax software and then file it basically electronically with the tax software. And so many people may be eligible to file electronically for free. There's a link to for free here. There's some options that you can go to on the IRS website, which basically kind of partners up or links to proprietary services that offer software, but if you're under a certain threshold, possibly for free. So you can check that out. Most refunds are issued in less than 21 days, but some returns may take longer. So they're saying the refund, if you file this way electronically and have the direct deposit information, 21 days is kind of like the average. That sounds what they're kind of saying is the average, but I wouldn't really depend on that as the average because average is in the middle. There could be outliers, and if they just, for whatever reason, there's a problem with the return, it might be an outlier. So I wouldn't really depend. I wouldn't start spending the actual refund before you get the actual refund. So taxpayers can track their refund using Where's My Refund? There's a link to that on irs.gov, irs.gov, the IRS website, or download the IRS To Go mobile app, which is obviously the best and most super cool way to go. You're like, I deal with the IRS on my IRS To Go app right on the phone. I'm not that high tech yet, but I'm getting there. I might do it at some point. So Where's My Refund is updated once daily, usually overnight. So there's no reason to check more than once per day or call the IRS to get information about a refund. So the Where's My Refund tool, if you're thinking you're going to check it all the time to see the updates, you don't really need to do that once, possibly twice a day, because they only update it once a day, so it's a waste of your time, to check it more than that. Taxpayers can check Where's My Refund within 24 hours after the IRS has received their e-file return or 4 weeks after mailing the paper return. This, once again, is another benefit of e-filing the return. If you e-file the return, you will typically get some verification from the actual software that it has been accepted in some short period of time. Once it has been accepted, then you can start using the Where's My Refund tool and start checking on that. Whereas if you paper file, then of course it's kind of in limbo for some time period before it's going to be whether it's been received or not, which can cause a little bit of stress. So I think that in and of itself is one of the major reasons to do the e-file, just to make sure that taxes are done, got them sent in, they accepted them, at least I know they got them, so I'm somewhat happy, stress is somewhat relieved at that point in time. So the Where's My Refund has a tracker that displays progress through 3 stages. The 3 stages for the Where's My Refund. Number 1, return received. So again, that's pretty good right there. You just got the return has been sent in, they've received it. That's good. So you've done your job. So then number 2, refund approved. So that's a good sign if they approve the refund. And 3, the refund sent. So whether through the IRS free file, and there's a link to that free file once again here, commercially available software, or a tax preparer, electronic filing vastly reduces tax return errors as the tax software does the calculations, flags common errors, and prompts taxpayers for missing information. And that is generally true even if you're a professional tax preparer, and all professional tax preparers do use software. The software going through that kind of interview type of process will help with the calculations, and it can basically come up with items or ideas about things that could be missing or gaps in the information. So I would highly recommend using software, whether you're doing it on your own, which again, if your tax return is below a certain threshold, you may be able to get free software by going to this link for the free file on the IRS website, which will then take you to third-party providers that provide free options for tax preparation under a certain threshold. So you have that option here. In any case, there are links to the free file and other related items that we talked about on this page, and there'll be the links to this in the description.